He's got a litter box inside, but he has to come outside to take a dump. He doesn't like taking a dump inside for whatever reason. Do you want to come inside now? Do you? I know, it's so cold outside. Too cold for kitties. Do you like the box? Do you like the box, Mr. Tomcats? I'm not gonna lie to you, she's cold. However, after this weekend, it's supposed to warm up. So last week, I put a bolt in the hole and screwed up my Deutsch connector, which is fine. I get new ones ordered. Hopefully, it should start showing up next week. But I got a new hose made. The place wouldn't repair the line, even though it's never been used, which is bullshit. And Greg's and Ackland's is closed, where I could just get the repair fitting for the end, where you kind of screw one piece on and screw the other piece in. But got a parcel, well, not a parcel, but I got a letter right here. Probably some more stickers. On the back it says Jeep and Creepin' was here, so let's have a look. So the letter says, "Hey there, Mr. Jerry, love the channel, been watching for some time, saw the Raptor line video, and here's some random decals. Came up with a couple different motherfucking beer ones. We'll keep this letter short, my handwriting is shit. Cheers from BC." Trust me, your handwriting is no neater than mine. Mine is probably worse. So it looks like these stickers are made on a plotter. I got a plotter too. I never ever use it anymore. It's a lot of work for what it is. That's motherfucking Beer Time one. Jeep and Creepin' Army. Death Wobble Survivor. Another motherfucking Beer Time one. Says, "Warning, Jeep may explode. I built this shit myself." And this one says, "Jeep and Creepin'." And that's the one that I'm going to find some real estate for. Just gonna rub that in there. So hopefully it doesn't come off. There we have it. That's kind of a cool decal or decal. Got a couple little bears down there. It looks like Sasquatch is up there. Very cool. Want to thank you, Jeep and Creepin', for sending me the stickers. Much appreciated. As you guys can see behind me, we're starting to get some stickers coming from some people and getting some real estate filled up, which would be pretty cool, I think, for people to see when I'm out and about. All the different possibly social media accounts that people can follow. Once again, thank you. And everybody else, remember, if you got a sticker and want it on the hood of my Jeep, send it over. First things I want to do to continue the swap, I need to pull this evap out. I can't use that. This fuel line is no good to me either. This weekend is too cold outside. Next week is supposed to be warmer, so I'll drop the fuel tank and do that tomorrow. But let's get this crap out of the way. Well, I'm typically not a fan of Mako tools, but this fuel line disconnect kit is pretty sweet. So my evap lines, those will just slide off. Give them a twist. I gotta get the right one for there. I think it's like a 3/8. I don't know what it is with this one, but she's being really stubborn. So I'm gonna give her a shot at WD-40. See if that persuades it a bit. Once I gave her a shot at WD-40, we were good. So those who've never used these tools or understand how these fittings work, if you see that ridge right there on the fuel line, now if you look inside here, you see those clips. What happens when you push the line in, they go over top of this, and that's what holds it in place. So when you use this tool, you push all those little retainers in, and then allows you to slide it off. So if I take this, you heard it clip, right? And you really, the easiest way is to push the fuel line forward as far as you can. Take your tool, right? I just slid it over, and then pull her off, just like that. The fuel line and the evap, theoretically, should be able to pull right out. Stuck somewhere. I just gotta throw that on the seat. This is my fuel line I'm no longer gonna need. This little hose right here, though, that I pulled off there, I'm gonna repurpose. Repurposed it as I just created a loop right there for the time being for the evap line. So now that I got the fuel line out, I realized I ordered one part I don't need and shorted myself of another. My bad on the research, because the fuel line coming off the Jeep is a 5/16, and my fuel line inlet on the Vortec manifold is 3/8. And how I'm going to get around that with two different fuel line sizes is that this is a 5/16 to 6AN fuel line connector. This is a 3/8 to 6AN, which I have fuel line that I'm going to build. They'll just thread in, and of course I had to buy another 5/16 because I bought two 3/8, and that's going to go for the fuel return to the tank. Not a big deal. Picked them up off Amazon. Got shipped to my PO box because it's getting close to Christmas time, and I don't want thieves robbing my doorstep because it's that time of year. So this fuel line's no good, but I should figure out that power steering mess now that I got a new hose. So the reason why I want to run the power steering line up to the top now, because I don't want it running to the bottom, which I hope I can make that fit. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with the oil filter relocation. I might mount it on the floor pan right there somewhere. So that's working out in my favor. Pressure line comes up, clears the steering, goes down into there, and you can see the return line. I got rid of the cooler. I know from this angle it looks like it's close to the belt, but it's not. The only thing I'm not fond of, can't really see, is that coming off the power steering box, I got a 90, and then it goes to another 90, so it's like a Z and then up. So it's two direction changes in the flow, so a little bit of friction there. Not too concerned. I removed the cooler, but if it becomes an issue, I'll reinstall the cooler. But that pump is quite a bit bigger than my factory one, so I'm not too concerned. And then from the bottom, you can see my return line goes up, clears there. Got a piece of rubber because it's rubbing on the side of the block there, and then goes in. So I think that should work. Well, this is going to be the moment of truth. Power steering is connected, so add some oil to it. And by adding oil, all the welding I did on the case, I guess we're going to find out if we have any pinhole leaks now. Which, if I did, is gonna suck. I use transmission fluid for the power steering. I don't know if you guys use that too, but that's how I roll. Let's check this again. Yeah, right now I'm on the full cold. After I crank it over a few times to prime the oil system and everything else before we're ready to fire it up. On the bright side, I'm not seeing any oil leaks yet, which is good. We'll see about tomorrow. See if anything seeps out of my welds. All you need is just like a pinhole through the weld. But it's looking good so far. So what the frig am I gonna do with this? That's gonna bring me pretty close to the fuel line. I don't know where I'm gonna put this. My best bet right now is gonna be somewhere where the lines are gonna be able to reach. It'll be probably snugger in right about here. Build a bracket, weld her up, probably powder coat it. Well, I guess the next thing to do is to start fitting up this radiator. As much as I don't want to. What are the odds of this thing fucking leaking? I'm not impressed with this. But a lot of people on the LS Swap Facebook groups swear by this superior radiator. Everybody loves it, but in my opinion, it looks like a fucking pile of shit. Dumb cats. Is this the kitty life? Is this the kitty life? Belly rubs? While you're cuddled up to your human? Nothing like some good chili. So now I'm gonna build a ring for this. I already faced off one end. And I already got a hole drilled before I face off this end because you're always left with a little tit there and that can deflect your drill bit. So what I want to do is make a ring to slide over to act as a stopper for the hose. Last night I picked up this marine weld. It says for aluminum, chemical and petroleum resistant. Should work. So that's nice and smooth. It's not gonna slide. Drill bit up, lock it in place. That way I can drill through. I ultimately want to be able to drill the biggest hole I can before I have to get the boring bar out. So now, what I want to do is drive that in just to create a nice bevel. So there we have it. We're going to see if it's going to slide on before we part her off. Oh, look at that. She's going to go. I could use a parting tool, but the parting tool will just come off flat. I want a slight beveled edge. That's why I'm going to stick my tool in there and drive her straight in until she parts. And then the ring's going to go flying somewhere and land up on the floor or something. I can see it starting to come apart. There we go. It's got my file here to take off the rough edges here. All that work just to make a little tit. I got a JB weld on there. And once again, this goes back to what I said in the video a while ago. You should be able to charge companies back your time it's going to take to fix shit, because You know what? It would cost me a lot of money to ship this from Canada back down to the States and then hopefully get another one back in return. It's better off for me just to fix it. Like, just look at this. I hope Superior Radiator sees this because, in my opinion, this is fucking shit quality. I wouldn't recommend buying a radiator from them ever again. I guess the next thing I want to do is make sure this fan works. It should be a pusher. You know, when the wires started getting a little warm, that you're trying to draw too much current through such a small little wire. This is the moment where I put the radiator in. And I can see right now, because the pressure line on the power steering, fuck, it's not gonna fit right there. Might have to get more creative. You gotta be kidding me. I still can't fit the radiator up because the return line is now in the way. Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to come across the bottom, but I don't think I have a choice. I have to come to the bottom, otherwise I'm going to be rubbing on the steering joint because that has to go pointing down for the radiator to clear. That's why I didn't run it on the bottom. I got to tie it up, but it might get in the way of the articulation. Somebody told me that when they're flexing, their front axle right here came up and smashed their power steering pump, and I can see something like that now happening. Need to come up with a better idea than that. So the lower rad hose and upper rad hose should be interesting, and I fit those up. Some people say they run with a mechanical fan. I guess without the shroud, you'd be pretty close. So now I could make that work, but I'm not going to because the hydraulic line is very stiff and it puts a lot of pressure on the steel line, which over time it'll break and cause me issue. So I'm going to get another small line, probably about 4 inches. Have a 90T in it. So that way I could run this power steering line up and out of the way where it's not going to be an issue with anything. It'll actually work out pretty good because the hose will come out on this side. Be a nice loop, sharp 90 down there and straight in. If I had some tubing, I would just bend something, but I don't want to spend more money when I have to, because then I have to buy swedge lock and everything else, and that just adds more money. But I think I can make that work. And then the power steering line's out of the way. One last thing I'm gonna do, plug that battery post back in, and the alarm used to chirp when I plug it in. No, it doesn't. I won't, probably because, well, the hood's open. It won't arm itself. Well, I guess it did. Anyways, what I want to see is that last time I powered up, it said the ASD relay was shorted out, which I need to figure that out because there's a lot of circuits run off that, like your O2 sensor, your coil, your injectors, I believe, all run off that. And those are circuits that I could reuse for other things. So let's figure out what's going on. Telling me idle air control, throttle pedal position. Yeah, it's disconnected. Not plugged in. Okay, well, this doesn't tell me the ASD is tripped, so I should have power to those. You guys buy one of these tools yet? Power Pro, best one. So O2 sensor 16. I'm not seeing voltage on that one. We got power to this one. So I know I got power, radio, ignition switch will obviously have power. Fuel pump has power. Injector on the bottom one. So we don't have power going across the board there. And this is the ASD relay here. So I got power there. Power there. One of those should be a ground. I wonder if I got a bad ground coming off there. So according to the sheet here, automatic shutdown relay, relay control, looks like dark blue, yellow, fuse ignition, run start, goes to 1, relay output. So 2 of these we already know there's power. That one and that one. So when I turn off the ignition, I should lose power on one of them. Now if I turn it off, now I should have lost 1 power. That's power. Yeah, so this is my ignition on wire right there. That's my power. One of these so I think what I'm doing is I'm missing the ground. The ground is gone. The automatic shutdown relay control, I believe, is the one that I'm missing. Should be a ground, I'm thinking. So this is probably my issue right there. Automatic shutdown relay control. Gray plug number 3. This is where I bust out the multimeter, so do a continuity check. Obviously, that's not the wire I'm supposed to connect to. The only other one is this one right down here. Oh, fell out. So I got continuity. The issue is the computer is shutting it down. That's what's happening. So now we know that's constant power. This is ignition on. That will be a ground. So all I have to do is just ground that and bypass the ASD. And then this one right here is your power. So now if I go on number 20, which is injectors, just 20 up one. If I power it with the power probe, 12 volts, touch on the fuse, I got 12 volts. I should have 12 volts on this one. So that's what I gotta do. Find that ground from number 3 and then ground it. Oh good, I did keep this plug. I wasn't sure if it was gonna end up in the garbage. So that's how we figure that all out. That's what I gotta do, then I could utilize those circuits. That's all sorted out, but I'll save that for another day. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I got a bunch of other stuff I have to get done before that. So providing that I don't lose my job in the next month, I'm off for 2 weeks over Christmas. Today is December 1st, time of filming, which Hoping to have startup done by then, or at least close to it. I got to order the DIY exhaust. I got to order a new exhaust for the rear. Pretty much got all the parts I need right now, except for O2 sensors, to get everything up and going. But we'll see. Still got a ways to go. All right, it's motherfucking beer time. What's this? Bubble Stash. Hop Valley. Where's this from? Oregon. This is one of the ones Fedora got for me. Alright, motherfucking beer time. Fedora got me this on this trip quite a while ago. Fridge has been turned off in the garage since it's winter time, but beer hasn't frozen. It still stays cold. Bubble Stash. That's actually pretty good. So now I got some direction. This is the problem you're going to run into when you're doing something custom, is that sometimes the way you want to do something is abolished by what has to go in there. So you're forced to make decisions on how things fit together. It's just one of the things that happens. Like I said, I'm going to get another short line made up, and that should take care of my power steering. Figured out that ASD relay. Going to bypass that, use some of the power wires afterwards to power some other circuits, since the fuse block is there. And yeah, so anyways, like I said before, hope to have startup over Christmas. In the last video I talked about there was layoffs when I was in Cuba. There was more layoffs this past week. So now the company is down to basically nobody. Out of like 150 plus people, there's only under 14 of us left. I'm going to say that's a huge cut. That's a huge cut, but right now I'm still working and I'm thankful. And next year's not going to be good. I don't think next year's going to be good at all. But anyways, motherfucking beer time. Oh, excuse me, I was going to burp. If you guys have any questions or comments, post them below. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys for watching.